What's going on YouTube? My name is Karlospokemon and welcome to a brand new video. Now before we start, I just want to apologise for the lack of uploads recently. Normally I have at least once a week an upload. Lately that hasn't happened at all because honestly I felt like I was forcing out content. So I put the brakes on for a little while, just took it easy, but now I feel like I can really get going with it. No promises, but if you ever want any updates on what's going on with the channel, if there is going to be a video this week or any other week, definitely follow me on Twitter or join our Discord. It's linked down below to find out what I'm working on and anything in general. With that said, today's topic is my top 5 mythical Pokemon. We've covered legendaries and pseudo-legendaries here on the channel, and it only makes sense to round out the legendary category with the mythical Pokemon. Here's my top 5 mythical Pokemon. Let's begin. To start us off, we have a little Generation 1 nostalgia. Wait, hold on. Why is there Gen 7 music playing right now? Come on, man, don't get lazy. Let's do this right, okay? Okay, so to start us off today, I want to take you all the way back to the year 2000. I, only 10 years old at this point, don't do the math. I was an excited 10-year-old boy, waiting with his fellow after-school club friends. For those unfamiliar, this was a cheap service afforded to parents so they didn't have to see their annoying kids like me for an extra hour after school. Anyway, my after-school club had arranged for us to go and see the trend of the last year or so in theatres for the very first time. We were about to see Pokemon the first movie, and it was amazing. It was an incredible experience to see not only your favourite video game and trading card game brought to life in a new way, but also on a big screen. As enthralled with the original Pokemon TV series as I was, it just couldn't compare to Mew and Mewtwo's debut on the big screen. Now I've already mentioned in the past how much I love Mewtwo when it comes to legendary Pokemon, but Mew, oh my god, Mew won me over just on cuteness alone. And the game glitch to obtain one only added to the intrigue of this awesome Pokemon for me. Next on my top 5 list of mythical Pokemon is the star of the 11th Pokemon movie, and arguably the most polarizing mythical among fans, not only because of its voice portrayal in it, which was often quoted as being a little annoying, but its overall personality throughout the movie too. I'm of course talking about Shaman. Now I have watched Giratina and the Sky Warrior, and personally I've got to say I kinda liked it. Although I agree that Pokemon's choice in how its voice work was presented or who presented it could have been better, and at times sure it came off as a little, I don't know, bratty, I actually really enjoyed how the story played out for it, and I personally love when Pokemon have different forms rather than say a 2 or 3 stage evolution. And the fact that both of its forms design wise look awesome is just a cherry on the cake for me. Game wise I can't say I've ever really used a Shaman just due to the nature of the Pokemon, but I have had some positive experiences using both forms on Pokemon Showdown from time to time, even though I might lose those battles since I'm a terrible battler. Just awful. Regardless, Shaman was and still is a favourite mythical Pokemon of mine. The next mythical Pokemon speaks to the darker side of my interests, this Pokemon being Darkrai. Now this is a weird one, so bear with me. While I've always really enjoyed creating creepy voices or creating creepy or thriller type stories in my teenage years, I really don't actually like to watch horror movies. I don't know why, it's not that I'm scared of the content within them, it's just they've never interested me. But what did is the characters to come out of those movies, such as Scream, Chucky, Freddy Krueger, and so on. I like them from a design aspect and just the general idea of them or their motives for doing what they're doing. And when it comes to Pokemon, this is no different. I love ghost types and I really love finding out about their Pokedex entries, and I love any time I get the opportunity to make a video about them. And so really the reason I like Darkrai isn't necessarily due to some Generation 4 nostalgia or in-game memories, as I'm sure most of you know. I haven't actually played through Generation 4 completely at all so far, so it's more from a design aspect and an origin aspect with Darkrai. And of course what the Pokemon does. It's super creepy, super awesome. I love the idea that it can make people or Pokemon have nightmares out of nowhere, and just the overall Slenderman-esque vibe I get from some elements in its design. And number 2 is Victini. Now Victini is arguably the mythical Pokemon I maybe have the least to say about. However, due to its ties to Generation 5, it being a part of a movie I actually really enjoyed, and being a fire type, one of my all-time favourite types of Pokemon, is really up there as one of the mythicals that immediately comes to mind when people mention mythical Pokemon as a topic overall. In the black and white movies, I absolutely loved Victini's playful attitude. Its design is described as rabbit-like, which I love because, I mean, who doesn't like rabbits? I like Victini's signature move V-Create. The animation, no matter what generation it was in, is awesome, and I don't know. I don't really know what else I can say about this Pokemon. A lot of what draws me to a certain Pokemon, if not related to some sort of real life interest or event, tends to be quite unexplainable for me, as I'm sure it is for many of you. When someone asks you about certain Pokemon, I'm sure there's times when you've replied, I like it, I just do, and I'm not sure why, I just like it. And that phrase perfectly fits how I feel about Victini. I have some reasons that come to memory, but it is just a small amount that can be put into words compared to how much I love this Pokemon. And I think that's okay. And number 1 on this top 5 is a mythical Pokemon I consider to be my all-time favourite. The Steel Psychic Pokemon, Jirachi. Now when scripting this part, I honestly had to think about why I liked it so much, and before I started typing anything out, I honestly didn't think I'd have much to say, but as soon as I started, it all just came flooding out. Jirachi was introduced way back in Generation 3, but honestly, I didn't really know of it back then. I was a dumb kid after all. If it wasn't on the cover, a part of a main story, or hiding under a truck somewhere, the chances were that this guy had never heard of it. Far from being a Pokedex completionist too, it wasn't like I ever checked each spot in the Pokedex to see if there were any mysterious creatures that were missing. Since I hadn't heard of it back then and I really didn't keep up with the movies at this time, my affection for this Pokemon really came late, and in fact the first time I actually saw this Pokemon was on YouTube. As any long-time viewers will remember, this channel used to be based around the Pokemon TCG, and since that was the case, I would usually watch a lot of TCG Poketubers. One in particular that caught my attention was Sleepy Jirachi. While not exclusively TCG, he did do quite a bit then, and that was my first experience of seeing Jirachi. Having watched his channel for a while, I decided to look into his mascot some more, and honestly, that's where I made a major connection with this awesome Pokemon. The fact that its origins are rooted in the idea of wishing upon a star and having the ability to grant wishes is a massive thing for me. You see, growing up in my early teen years, I dealt with a fair amount of deaths in my family and friends, and one of the things that helped me through these times was my interest in the stars and space in general. Holding on to that childlike way of thinking that if you wished on a star hard enough or at the right time, that it might, just might come true and everything would be okay was really important to me. And so taking all that into account, it just makes Jirachi a mythical Pokemon that I really connect with, and in all honesty, it's just my favourite. Alright, so that was my top 5 mythical Pokemon list. Naturally, this was very much about my own personal experiences, and I'd love to hear about some of your experiences with mythical Pokemon of the Pokemon franchise in the comments down below. Hit that like button if you enjoyed, and if you want to see me cover more topics such as some of my favourites of a certain type or region, you can of course join the Discord link down below, or let me know also in the comments. If you're new here, why not hit that subscribe button so you never miss an upload. That's it for now. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'll see you again soon.